Brazil may be the land of the samba, but for the highly motivated Grand Prix fraternity, a bicycle race around Sao Paulo's daunting Interlagos circuit seemed an ideal way to limber up for the second round of the championship. Sauber driver JJ Leito emerged the winner and hoped that his luck would hold for the rest of the weekend. For Williams, seen here flexing their muscles, the race held out hopes of a second successive victory for Alain Prost, who displayed his usual calmly confident style out on the circuit. Damon Hill wanted to try for pole, perhaps covering his ears to Frank Williams' insistence that second would be good enough, and that was what the Englishman duly delivered once he was out on the track. Yet the devoted Brazilian crowd had eyes only for the home hero, Ayrton Senna, eyeing the practice times with as much defiance as he can muster from his cockpit. The Ferrari team mechanics took time off to practice wheel changing, but to judge by the pensive looks on the faces of Jean Alesi and Gerhard Berger, the possibility of actually getting as far as a tyre stop in the race was much on their mind. Berger, in particular, was probably reflecting on a brain-rattling shunt he'd suffered on Friday. The car was badly damaged, but thankfully he walked away. Michael Schumacher's Benetton had a busy time in qualifying with a beautiful double spin, but he enjoyed it so much he tried a single one later on. Zanardi went autocrossing with his Lotus, and jumping on the off-road bandwagon, Andretti also spun onto the wet grassy infield. Ivan Capelli enjoying himself there, and seeing as this would be his last outing for the Jordan team, he'd soon have a lot more time to play with his water pistol. So there we have Williams hogging the front row of the grid and the local boy in third. Samba drums in the crowd set the tone of the race morning, with a capacity crowd jamming the grandstands opposite the pits. Prost got away cleanly at the start, with Senna following through in second place. But Andretti was out of luck again with a spectacular mishap. Wow! As the American pulled across to the right of the starting grid, he became entangled with Berger's Ferrari and the two cars cartwheeled into the right-hand runoff area. Prost began to pull away comfortably in blissful ignorance of this accident, while Martin Brundle walked unhurt from the wreckage of his Ligier after colliding with Barbazza's spun Minardi. Hill wiped the smile off of local faces as he artfully slipped in front of Senna. Barrichello also walked home early after abandoning his Jordan out on the circuit. Meanwhile, the leaders were threatened by the onset of rain, which turned the starting area into a skating rink, with Aguri Suzuki's footwork bouncing off the pit wall to end up in the middle of the circuit like a beached whale. Prost missed a tyre stop for reasons far too complicated to bore you with here, and decided to stay out for an extra lap, only to collect Christian Fittipaldi's spinning Minardi at the height of the downpour. That drama left Hill leading Senna, but after an early switch to dry tyres, Senna's skill in the wet proved too much for Hill, and the crowd went wild. Damon was left to finish second, with Schumacher getting the better of Johnny Herbert's Lotus in a wheel-to-wheel battle to take third place at the checkered flag. It was Senna's second victory in the Brazilian Grand Prix, and one which he embraced with as much emotion as the crowd. Imagine what they'd have been like if he'd have lost. He was congratulated on the rostrum by the legendary Argentinian five-times champion Juan Manuel Fangio. Clearly, he derived as much satisfaction from this acknowledgement as he had from winning the race itself. So, a popular win for Senna, but Hill must have been just as excited by his first real taste of success.